The company that wants to come in, they were taking a last look at Kentucky. And believe it or not, the guy from Brady Industries was there, and he stood up and talked about why he brought his company here. And so I think we're waiting to hear which way that's gonna go, but I truly hope it comes here. So we'll be adding to that number. So we're already over 10 billion, not even at the end, summer's not even over yet. So just a wonderful things going on. The dual credit scholarship program, I get to a lot of schools. So far I've been to about 85 schools, believe it or not. I'm asked to come in and share, and they started contacting me. Somebody will have heard me speak somewhere, like at a Rotary Club or someplace, and they say, your story is so inspirational. Will you come share that with my kids? And so I do. And I go and I go back to even my childhood, growing up poor in Detroit, and just some of the negative messaging, the negative things that were there, and how I was able to bat that away and just go on and have a really interesting career. And I talk about that, and I talk about the speed bumps that I hit, and then I take questions from the kids, and it's just so much fun. I had some first graders in Bowling Green ask me if I could do anything to get corn dogs back on the lunch menu. Just they were so intense. Every constituent has their issue, right? And that was their issue. No, I didn't have the heart to lecture first graders about the perils of big government and what happens when people like Michelle Obama start making lunch guidelines. But it's a lesson in huge bloated centralized government. We don't need that, right? So I've been to about 85 schools. And I'm hearing about this scholarship program, this dual credit scholarship program, and kids are taking advantage of this. And a lot of them are graduating from high school. Some of them will have their first year of college done at reduced rates, and it just saves a ton of money, just a ton. That we put that in the last budget. The raises for state troopers and social workers was huge. I'm still hearing from people on that because they hadn't had raises in a long time, and so we made sure that was in the budget. Workforce development is a primary focus in this administration, because we know that we can lure companies here or try to lure companies here, but they won't come if they don't see the workforce that they need. And so we plowed money into that. It's so important. It's really important. And I think you have to get the kids at an even younger and younger age to make sure they're ready for whatever, not necessarily for college, if they don't want to go to college, but for just to be ready for whatever careers they choose to pursue. You just have to be flexible. You have to be in a learning mode, and I talk about this when I talk about my career, because my career was not planned. I've never met so many high schoolers who think they have to have their whole life planned by the 12th grade. I know many of you didn't, right? Or maybe you set out on one path and you ended up on a completely different path. I know I certainly did, because this was not on my list at all. And kids are shocked to hear that. Kids are shocked to hear that. They're shocked to. One kid was really surprised to hear that I grew up poor, because in his mind, elected officials or come from wealthy families, and I thought, wow, if my family was wealthy, they were sure hiding. I don't know where the car was. They were hiding the car in the washing machine. I don't know where that was, because we didn't have a washing machine think till I was almost out of high school. I actually passed high school, I think, and that's only because my mom took in her uncle, who had a stroke, and she was taking care of him, and she needed a washing machine, and so, kids just have. Let me just say this to you all. My story, I'm told it's inspirational, but it's no more inspirational than yours. It really isn't. Kids are looking at you thinking you went from 0 to 60 overnight. They think you got where you got just like that, and you were always confident in doing what you do. Please take the time to share your stories with the kids around you, and even at the risk of them rolling their eyes and going, "Oh, there he goes again." But I think share the speed bumps, share the hiccups in your life and what you did, how you got past that. I always ask, if I'm talking to a high school, I'll ask, how many of you drive? What do you do when you get to a speed bump? And, it's kind of disturbing because a lot of the kids laugh at that, and which makes me wonder what they're doing when they get to the speed bump. But what they should do is slow down. You slow down, you get over it, and then you move on. And I think that's an apt metaphor for what you do when you hit the hiccups or when life doesn't go the way you plan. Because I tell them, listen, I got news for you. Life's not going to go the way you planned. It really isn't. You may set out on one career thinking that's it, and you end up in a completely different place. I went through high school thinking I wanted to be an accountant. And I passed up all these classes I could have taken, like calculus and physics, and I took a ton of accounting classes, and then I wasted 2 years in college in pre-business. Then I discovered engineering school, which is where I should have been the entire time. And I'm not blaming my guidance counselor because I just didn't even use my guidance counselor. But maybe they could have helped me see what it is I love to do and set me on that path. And so I was wholly unprepared for engineering school, and hopefully nobody will ever look at my transcript because it's just atrocious. But I did pretty good by the time I got to grad school, though. So just please take the time to share your stories with the young people in your lives. I think they'll be surprised. I really do think they'll be surprised. So please, if you would do that. So what I want to do is, let me just say this. First of all, I cannot tell you what an honor and a joy it is to serve with Matt Bevin as governor. And just to say Governor Matt Bevin is just so still amazing. This whole journey is so surreal because this wasn't on my list of things to do. It really wasn't. And I remember on election night in November, where they were lining us up backstage to come out and make our acceptance speeches. And, there's me and my mom, and who just turned 90, by the way. And she was a dream. They're lining us up, me, my mom, my husband, the Bevin 11. And they're lining, and I turned around and I said, you're going to be my governor. And he said, well, you're going to be my lieutenant governor. I said, no, you don't understand. You are going to be my governor. And I was almost moved to tears because I knew what his election would be for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And I was just seeing him not as an elected official, but just as a constituent of his. And I have been just thrilled. It's truly a joy to serve with him. I have never met anyone he just has a zest for life that's infectious. Now, I don't know that I could dangle from the end of a moving chopper. And apparently